I'm so glad you're here joining us today. At National Geographic, we believe in the power of exploration, wonder, and storytelling to change our world for the better. This Explorer Classroom YouTube show connects students from all around the world with our National Geographic explorers for short lessons from them and lots of questions from you. Today, our explorer is Prem Gill. Prem is a polar conservationist who works to protect habitats and wildlife at the North and South Poles. He leads a project called Seals from Space, where he uses satellite imagery to remotely study seals and their habitats in Antarctica. Prem uses computers, artificial intelligence, immersive technology, all kinds of stuff to help protect our very icy and very fragile habitats. It's all very cool, if you'll pardon the pun. But before we get into his lesson for today, I want to welcome our viewers registered to join us from all over the globe. My shout outs goes to these student groups this morning. We've got Barker Middle School, CP Santa Barbara, Citizen Edmund Janae Elementary, the Cogitation Club, Evans, Evergreen Middle, Fox Family, Franklin Masonville Cove 239, Gill St. Bernard School, Heim students, India Hook Elementary, Idaho Rural School, Orange Elementary, Phillips, Pioneer, the Pioneer School, PS 274 Kosciuszko, Pierre Bilingual, Rochester School District 535, St. Michael's, Batista Group, the Nelsons, the Singlas, Wayne Stewart Ryan Elementary School, West Royalty Elementary, the Williams Home School, the Yanez family, and so many more of you out there on YouTube. If you didn't get an out loud shout out this morning, please feel free to say hi in the chat bar, introduce your school. We would love to say hi there. But with all that talking from me out of the way, let's get to the main event. We'll get this Explorer Classroom started. I'm going to turn it over to Prem to share all about polar conservation and studying seals from space.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited today to share with you a little bit about Antarctica. First things first is attempting to share my presentation. Celeste, how does that look? Looks beautiful. Do you see my notes?
I don't see your notes. No, we have the audience view. It looks great.
Perfect. All right, we are ready to go. Let me just move this up here. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Prem Gill, aka Polar Prem, and I am a polar scientist who lives in England. I'm currently in Cambridge right now, and I am a British Sikh student. So my parents are from northern India, the Punjab, and I'm a student at Cambridge University, which is one of the world's oldest universities. It's even older than the United States of America. And I'm also a student at the British Antarctic Survey. I also work in wildlife filmmaking with the BBC. So the last thing I've worked on is a documentary called Frozen Planet 2, and that will be coming to your TV screens in the near future, so keep your eyes out for that. And today I want to share with you some of the journeys I've been on through my work in wildlife filmmaking and as a polar scientist. This has taken me to the very northern ends of our world, up to Svalbard, where there's more polar bears than humans on the island we were at, and also to the very most remotest reaches of our world, all the way in the south to the land of the penguins and the seals in Antarctica. So we're going to go on a nice virtual trip down to Antarctica and the Southern Ocean to meet all the animals that live there. But before we do that, I have a very important job for all of you. I want all of you to look at these two cute baby seals, and I want you to imagine, what noises do seals make, okay? And the reason I want you to do that is because we're about to do a pop quiz where I'm going to play a few seal noises and a few space noises, and you need to guess whether the noise I play is from seals or if it's from outer space. Okay, are we all ready? First sound. Thinking seal, space. What do you reckon, Celeste? What are the responses we're getting?
YouTube's thinking seals, but there's a little bit of disagreement. Is that about what you guys are doing classes up on screen? Give me a big nod if that's about right for you guys. Yeah, that's the consensus.
Okay, Well done. That was indeed seal. Not just any seal, that was a baby Weddle seal. So these are some of the most common seals in Antarctica. And as you can see, they're very, very cute, fluffy, these big round eyes to help them see when they go diving to eat their krill. And yes, as you can see, all sorts of cute. Okay, sound. Seal or space? What do we reckon?
This one's harder. We're getting some spaceship emojis in the YouTube chat bar. We're getting some space from our on-screen groups, but there's always the chance that it could be seal. What is it?
It is space. So what you can see in this image here is one of our bases in Antarctica at Halley. And it's a very special base because if you can look, it's got little legs at the bottom of the base. And that's because the base can move. And the reason the base moves is because it's on a large crack in Antarctica. And we want to make sure that as the crack grows, we're on the right side. So we don't end up being stuck on an iceberg going out to sea. But that's not the only cool thing about this base. This base is used to study space weather. And what you can see in the image at the top is the southern lights, which are caused when the sun has a solar flare. And when the sun has a solar flare and we have these southern lights, natural radio waves are emitted. And we have a very special radio which can pick up these radio waves and turn them into sound. So what you're hearing is the noises of the southern lights, which is very, very beautiful. Okay, final round. What? That once more. We think seal, space.
Some folks are guessing seal.
Okay.
But some folks are shouting space.
Okay.
So louder for space, more plentiful for seal.
Okay. It is actually seal. So this is an adult Weddle seal. You saw the baby alien. Here's the adult. Pretty incredible. Now, I found those noises so amazing. It actually reminded me of some music I used to listen to growing up in England. So in East London, there's a genre of music called grime, which is a bit like rap, a bit like hip hop, but also a little bit techno-y. And I've been working with a very cool person called Marsman J to try and make grime music out of Antarctic seal noises. I always get a little bit shy playing my music, so I'm just going to give you a little sample of our seal music. Oh, hopefully there's a party going on in your classrooms. Okay, so we've gone from space and now we're heading down to Antarctica. So there it is, there's Antarctica, the beautiful white continent, and it's surrounded by the Southern Ocean. And Antarctica is special for lots of different reasons. It is the world's highest, most coldest, most windiest continent on Earth, and it's also the most remote and isolated. You can actually see South America reaching out to it, the southern tip of Africa reaching out, Australia also trying to reach out to Antarctica, but none of them actually touch Antarctica. So Antarctica is the world's most remote continent. And you might think, wow, if it's the most extreme place on the world, if it's the most isolated, if it's the coldest, maybe there isn't much life. You couldn't be more wrong, because the Southern Ocean is actually chock-a-block full of life. It is just bursting to the seams with lots of different life. And I want you to think, what kind of life is in Antarctica? Maybe you've seen Happy Feet. Maybe you've seen some wildlife documentaries on TV. Just have a think, what animals would I see if I was diving into the Southern Ocean or if I was sitting on an iceberg? Did any of you say penguin? Raise your hand if you thought penguins. Yes, done. What about whales? How many of you thought about whales in Antarctica? Okay, excellent. Seals. Yeah, lots of seals. What about flying seabirds? This animal here is an albatross. A lot of people forget about the flying seabirds, but in Antarctica, there's a few areas which are ice-free and have a bit of vegetation, and you can also get flying seabirds, which make their nests there. How many of you said polar bear? Raise your hands for polar bear. Ooh, no. So polar bears live in the North Pole, not the South Pole. And there's a really, really easy way to remember this. I want you to raise your right hand and make a polar bear paw like this, and you point it up. Oh, this is so cute. And that means that in the north, you have polar bears. And what I want you to do with your other arm is stick it out like a penguin flipper and then give it a little shake while you're pointing it down. And that means penguins live in the south at the bottom of our world. Okay, polar bear paws up for polar bears in the north. Penguin flippers pointing down for penguins in the south. So if you see any Christmas adverts where penguins and polar bears are together having drinks and eating snacks, it's not true. They actually never, ever meet each other in real life. Now, on to my favorite bit of my presentation, satellite images. This here is a satellite image of sea ice, but there's these really large brown and pink stains. Does anybody know what these stains could be? There's a bit of a clue. It's related to some of these animals up here. It is actually penguin poo. So penguins live in Antarctica in these large colonies where they all huddle together to keep warm. And the poo they leave behind, the poo stains, are so large that you can see them all the way from space. And scientists can use penguin poo to count the populations of penguins. And even today, they're discovering new penguin colonies, all thanks to their poo. So that shows you just how important and amazing satellite images can be in discovering and monitoring our polar wildlife. Does anybody know what this image is? It's in the water, so we're not actually on the ice, but there's an animal there. Does anyone know? It's a whale. So in Antarctica, you have baleen whales, which are filter feeders. So they eat lots of krill, these small shrimp-like creatures. And the biggest animal that's ever existed, the Antarctic blue whale, is found in Antarctica. It's bigger than dinosaurs. It weighs more than an elephant. In fact, it weighs about 33 elephants put together. That's how heavy a blue whale is. And you find those all the way down in Antarctica. Anybody know what these little white dots are? Those are the nests of albatross, and the little white dot is the albatross bird itself. So albatross, they are the birds with the world's largest wingspan. They're from tip to tip, their wings are about 12 foot. So that's almost like having one adult on each wing. That's how long they are. And they're some of the world's oldest living birds in the wild. There's an albatross called Wisdom, who is about 70 years old. So yeah, they get to a pretty old age, these amazing albatrosses. But my interest is actually in seals. I really, really love seals. And this all started with when I came across the world's rarest seal. So the Mediterranean monk seal is a seal that used to be found across Greece, across the beaches of the Mediterranean, but due to being hunted by humans and due to people building on their beaches, their population dropped down to about 400 seals, and they became very scared and elusive and started hiding away in coastal caves. So it was very hard to spot a monk seal, but I was lucky enough to see one and even capture that moment on video. And it was exactly as I imagined it. Here it is, the world's rarest seal on a sunbed, on a beach in Greece, surrounded by tourists eating kebabs. And I thought to myself, if this is how easy it is to monitor the world's most rarest seal, how easy is it going to be to monitor the most common seal? It turns out the seals with the highest abundance, the highest numbers, are the Antarctic seals. So actually, they're really, really difficult to monitor because they live out there on the sea ice. But it's so important we do monitor them to get an idea of if their population is going up or down, because they live in Antarctica and they live on the sea ice. And the sea ice which they use to rest on, to have their pups, to give birth on, to mate on, all of this could disappear in the coming decades with climate change. So it's super important we understand what's happening with these seals. But we're not just interested in monitoring seals just to learn more about seals. if you can monitor Antarctic seals and see where they're going and if the habitat's going up or down, you can actually find out the health of the whole Antarctic ecosystem. You can find out how healthy the Southern Ocean is just by looking at seals. And one of the reasons for that is because seals absolutely love to eat krill. And krill is this small chappy here in the middle of the food web. And it's a small shrimp-like creature, which is about the size of your pinky, but they're really, really abundant. In fact, if you added, the total weight of all the Antarctic krill put together is more than the total weight of all humans combined. So that's how much krill there is in the Southern Oceans. And because of this, virtually all the marine predators eat krill. So your whales, penguins, seals, fish, squid, they all love to eat krill. So when you wake up in the morning, you might have cereal, but in Antarctica, when they wake up in the morning, they go out to eat krill. Krill is so important that some animals, like this Antarctic seal here, they actually have adapted teeth just to help them eat krill. What you can see here is these very interesting teeth with lots of little jagged edges. That enables the crab-eater seal to close its teeth together and suck in loads of seawater and capture the krill, and then get rid of all the seawater and just hold on to that krill to eat it. So that's how important krill is. It's actually changed the teeth of the seals that live there to help them catch more. Here is one of my favorite polar explorers. So there was a polar explorer called James Weddle, and he's very, very lucky because he has two things named after him, the Weddell seal and also the Weddell Sea. He's also a very talented artist. Here's his drawing of a Weddell seal. And the reason I like to bring up this image is because it shows how important it is to make sure we can look at animals lots and lots of times, because if you see an animal just once, you might have a little bit of a bad idea about how it looks and what it's like. So it's important we view the seals as much as we can. But we have a bit of an issue. Antarctic seals live on sea ice, and sea ice that covers Antarctica, it covers an area that's double the size of Europe. So if you want to use a plane or a boat to go to Antarctica and count all the seals, it's impossible because the area they live on is so large. So what's the solution? The solution, of course, is to use satellite monitoring technology. And to give you an idea of how we can use satellites to monitor seals, here is a satellite image with loads of little tear-shaped black drops. And those little black drops are actually Antarctic seals. And the images we use have such a good resolution that not only can we see Antarctic seals from space, we can see mum seals who have given birth to their pups. So we can see mums, we can see pups. And if that mother's just recently given birth to a seal, you can even see blood on the sea ice from where the seal's given birth, all the way from space. But we have a slight issue with satellite images in that it can be really tricky to spot the seals sometimes. There's a few seals hidden in this image here. And I don't know if you can spot them, but I'll bring them up. There they are. So yeah, that was quite tricky, right? Like, is that a seal? Is that a shadow? Is that a rock? What are we looking at? Well, one solution is to do something called ground truthing, where we go to where we've taken the satellite image and we take lots of measurements of the seals there to make sure the thing we're looking at is actually a seal and not a rock, as silly as that sounds. And one way of doing that is to use thermal imagery. And I've got an example video here of a penguin in thermal imagery. And, you can really tell what's rock and what's penguin in this image. So that's my plan, was to do this, but for seals. But the first thing I had to do was get trained up, because in Antarctica, you're not allowed within 5 meters of animals. So that means I had to put all my cameras onto a 5-meter pole. And to make sure I was strong enough to be able to hold up the pole, I had to go up to Edinburgh University to get trained with using a pole. And here I have my friend who was a very useful seal impersonator for me. Oh. Okay, that video is not playing, but another part of my training was how to deal with seals. So I've shown you a few different seals that live in Antarctica, but one of those seals is the fur seal. And the fur seal was actually hunted almost to extinction because of its beautiful fur. And that's what was sold across Europe and Asia. And some people say that because the fur seal was almost hunted to extinction, that only the really aggressive fur seal survived. And now that the population has bounced back, some people say that they're extra aggressive because it's the ones who fought back that survived. So not only are they a little bit feisty, they're also really quick runners. You can see in the photos, they've got these flexible little legs, and that allows them to run like dogs. And if you're on a beach, a fur seal can be quicker than a human. So I had to make sure I was comfortable around seals. So to deal with that, I tried to find the biggest, most scariest seals I could find in England to train with. And here's the seals that I found. As you can see, they're absolutely terrifying. No, those were just little baby seals that I worked with. And although they weren't that scary, they did help me understand that different seals have different personalities, which was really, really useful for when I was going to Antarctica to go find the seals. And here's the beginning of that journey. I'm here with my friend Nicole, and we shot off to Antarctica. And then once we got there, we had the issue of actually trying to find the seals, which is more difficult than it sounds. But we did manage to find all the seals we wanted, and we managed to get our special measurements, which you can see here. And these special measurements will help us know whether the seals we look at in our satellite images are seals or rocks, which is so important. And to close off, I've just got one final video. Hopefully this will play. It's a video of me in Antarctica driving our Zodiac looking for seals. Can anyone tell me why I've included that video? What's it supposed to show you? If you've answered, it's showing me looking very cool. That is the correct answer. You get 10 points for that. And the final bit of this presentation, I really just wanted to finish by saying we're all connected. And I'm here in Antarctica with a flag that someone has drawn me, another school kid, and they've sent it to me in Antarctica. And I just want to remind you that we are all connected to Antarctica, even if you've never been there, even if you never see a seal or a penguin. Antarctica controls our weather, it controls our climate. Life as we know it today is all because of Antarctica. I live in the UK where it's quite rainy, and that's actually because of Antarctica, even though it's so far away. So I just want you to know that even if you never visit Antarctica, you are all connected to this important region, and that Antarctic explorers come in all shapes and sizes and different backgrounds. So really anyone can be an Antarctic explorer. And in fact, it's important we have people from so many different backgrounds become polar scientists, because to deal with climate change and to save the polar regions, we really need all of society to work together. And with that, I have one final treat. I actually have a friend who is in Antarctica right now. And to show you how connected we are, I'm going to try phoning her from my mobile phone. There's no guarantee that she'll be able to pick up because she has a very important job running our base in Antarctica. So if there's an emergency, she might have to leave her desk, but we're going to try calling her. And when I do call her, I want us all to give a really big hello to Ali, so loud that she'll be able to hear it all the way in Antarctica. But first, let me see if I can actually get her on the phone.
All right, students, wherever you may be while he's dialing, get ready, mentally prepare yourself. Our phrase is, "Hi, Allie." We'll turn
Hi,
on your
is that
microphones if you're up
Ali?
on screen.
is Ali. Hello.
Hi, Ali. It's Prem. I'm live with National Geographic and loads of kids from across the world. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all these kids and school children and their teachers to unmute their microphone so we can give a really big hello to Ali. And I want it to be so big that she can hear it in Antarctica. Okay. So are you ready? Big hi, Ali.
Hi, Ali.
Did you hear that, Ali?
Amazing. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I didn't realise I was going to.
Yes, yeah, well, you are live with the whole world. And I know I've told everyone about your very, very important job and you're so busy running the station. So we won't keep you long. But it's just incredible that I can sit here in Cambridge on my cell phone and talk to you from Antarctica. And one thing I thought would be really nice is just to share a little bit about just life in Antarctica. So I know that at Rothera, at our base, we have to have loads of meals a day. Could you tell everyone why we have to eat so much food and how many meals do we have a day?
Up to 160, and that's a huge range of jobs. A lot of those people be working outside, so collecting samples projects, doing weather observations, training people up in the field techniques. And obviously, we've got a huge number of people on the space support side as well, so making mechanics, doctors, pilots, chefs, and you all need to eat, and the chefs do a fantastic job of about 10:30, and then lunch.
Wow, that is incredible. So, we have to have all these meals to make sure we're not burning our calories because of how cold it gets in Antarctica. So you can be snacking throughout the whole day if you're really, really lucky, with lots of biscuits and chocolates, which is a rare treat that you can pig out while you're in Antarctica. There's just one final question, Ali. All the children really wanted to know, what can you see outside your window? And it doesn't have to be anything special. It doesn't have to be a killer whale leaping over a penguin. It can be just whatever is outside the window. They would absolutely love to know.
Big mound of snow because it's early season. So we have all the snow that's accumulated over winter. And by the end of summer, a lot of that will have melted down on station. I can see about a 3-meter high mound of snow at the moment. And we're having to dig down into some of the buildings, tunneling in to get into the buildings. And when you wake up in the morning and come across breakfast, sometimes you have to dig the snow out of the doorway so you can get out. On that, I can looking over Ryder Bay and I can see Mount Leotard, which is one of the biggest mountains on our little island, which is Adelaide. Glaciers, so the Turner and Parker glaciers, which are tumbling down into Ryder Bay, and local islands, Jenny Island and Leone Island. So it really is an absolutely stunning place to be located, and I feel absolutely privileged every day I work here. Sometimes you can get a bit stuck in your office, answering phone calls and writing emails and doing plans for the season, but to be able to just step outside and experience the environment is one of the best things about my job.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Ali. Could we get a big thank you to Ali if everyone unmutes their mics? I'll just wait for the other mics to be unmuted. Perfect. All right, let's give a big clap and a big thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ali. I'm going to end the call here, but thanks again. And yeah, it's just amazing that I can call someone in Antarctica from my bedroom. Thanks, bye. Wow, can't believe that worked.
And Prem, for our last question of the episode, do you have any advice for all the young explorers out there watching you today?
Say that, I want as many people as possible to become polar scientists, polar explorers, wildlife filmmakers, because the polar regions are the regions which are changing the most rapidly because of climate change. They're the ones which are warming up the quickest. So it's really important we have people from all over the world, from all different backgrounds, get involved in the research and also figure out what's going to happen if climate change continues and begins to melt the ice and raises the sea levels. What does that mean for all of us? And for different people, it means different things, which is why we need so many people. And from the questions you've given me, it's very obvious you're already polar scientists. So, I mean, you've already gotten this far by asking these really, really clever and smart questions. Just continue working in school, work real hard, and become a polar scientist. And what I hope to see in maybe a few years from now, maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, is loads of letters from the Arctic, from Antarctica, from all of you to me. And if you want to see other polar explorers and what they get up to, there's a website called Polar Impact, which shows polar scientists from lots of different backgrounds and different races and colors and countries. And I would really recommend checking out that website to meet all those polar explorers. And you can even write to them if you think if any of those people are really, really cool.
Amazing. Well, a huge thank you to you, Prem, for doing this absolutely incredible work and also for hanging out with us to share it. Another thank you to all of the students and teachers out there. The questions today were just fire. You are always amazing and so impressive. We hope to see you at many more of our events. Coming up, we'll be learning about ice cores, ocean exploration, archaeology, all kinds of good stuff between now and winter break. You can register your student group for a shout out during the event and a chance to be up here on screen with an explorer at natgeoed.org/explorerclassroom. Very happy Geography Awareness Week to everyone. Reminder that Thanksgiving is coming up here in the US. So next Thursday on November 25th, Explorer Classroom will not have events in observation of Thanksgiving. And finally, a very happy Native American Heritage Month to everyone. Have a great day. Stay curious.